Most men are pathetically weak. They're slaves to their emotions, their insecurities, and the whims of others. They shuffle through life, heads bowed, accepting scraps from the table of life. They apologize for their desires, cower before challenges, and allow themselves to be manipulated by anyone with a louder voice or a sob story. But you don't have to be one of them. This isn't about self-improvement. This is about a complete, brutal, and irreversible transformation. This is about becoming ruthlessly powerful. Forget the fluffy, feel-good nonsense you've been fed. We're going to forge an unbreakable will, an iron discipline, and a mindset that allows you to control your destiny, not be controlled by it. I'm talking about sculpting yourself into a man of absolute power, a force of nature that bends the world to his will, a man who takes what he wants, unapologetically and without hesitation. Are you starting to feel a flicker of something, a spark of defiance? Good, because that's the first ember of the inferno we're about to ignite. This is not a journey for the faint of heart. We're going to delve into the darkest corners of masculinity, explore the forbidden knowledge that society tries to keep locked away. We're going to dissect the very essence of what it means to be a dominant male in a world that desperately tries to neuter you. We're going to expose the lies, the manipulations, the subtle and not so subtle ways you've been programmed to be weak. And then we're going to systematically dismantle that programming, brick by agonizing brick, and rebuild you from the ground up. We will transform you, a total metamorphosis from a zero, a nobody, a forgettable face in the crowd, to a man who commands respect, a man who inspires awe, a man who gets what he wants. Are you ready to unearth the secrets whispered only in the shadows, the forbidden knowledge that will make you unstoppable? Because I am about to hand you the keys to a kingdom, your kingdom. Embrace the darkness, understanding toxic masculinity. Listen, most men are drowning in a sea of mediocrity, tossed around by the waves of political correctness and societal expectations. They're told to be sensitive, to share their feelings, to embrace their feminine side. It's a trap, a carefully constructed cage designed to keep you weak, compliant, and easily controlled. But what if I told you that the very traits society labels toxic dominance, aggression, unwavering self-belief, the absolute rejection of anything resembling weakness, are not flaws, but rather the very foundation of unshakable male power? What if the so-called toxic masculinity is, in reality, untamed masculinity, the raw, primal force that built civilizations, conquered empires, and propelled men to the top of every hierarchy imaginable? Are you going to flinch from that power? Are you going to let fear dictate your actions? Or are you going to embrace the darkness and unlock your true potential? Let's be brutally honest. The world isn't a playground. It's a battlefield. And on that battlefield, the nice guys, the ones who prioritize feelings over results, the ones who apologize for their ambition, they get crushed. They become casualties of their own weakness. Consider this scenario. A young, ambitious entrepreneur is pitching his revolutionary idea to a panel of investors. He's prepared, he's passionate, but he's also nice. He's overly deferential. He avoids strong eye contact. He downplays his accomplishments to avoid seeming arrogant. He gets eaten alive. The investors, sharks circling their prey, sense his weakness and tear his proposal to shreds. He leaves with nothing but a bruised ego and a shattered dream. Now, imagine a different man. This man walks into the room with absolute confidence. He doesn't ask for permission. He commands attention. He stares each investor directly in the eye, his gaze unwavering, his voice resonant and powerful. He doesn't present his idea. He declares its brilliance. He anticipates their objections and dismantles them with ruthless efficiency. He might even use subtle intimidation, a hint of barely contained aggression, to establish his dominance. He's not afraid to be labeled arrogant or aggressive because he knows that those traits, in this context, are assets. And the result? He walks out with the funding he needs. He wins because he understood the unspoken rules of the game. He embraced the toxic traits that the first man suppressed. He understood that in the arena of power, dominance is not a dirty word. It's a necessity. Look at the animal kingdom. The alpha lion doesn't apologize for his strength. He doesn't cower before his rivals. He roars, he fights, he dominates. And he gets the lion's share of the food, of the females, of everything. Is that toxic? Or is it simply the natural order? Now, I'm not advocating for mindless brutality. I'm talking about controlled aggression, strategic dominance, the ability to channel your inner beast to achieve your goals. It's about understanding that sometimes the only way to win is to be unyielding, to be ruthless, to be willing to do what others are too afraid to even consider. And the suppression of feminine weakness. It's not about hatting women. It's about recognizing that certain traits, excessive emotionality, indecisiveness, a tendency to prioritize harmony over victory, are liabilities in a man's quest for power. It's about cultivating the opposite traits: stoicism, iron will, unwavering focus, and the willingness to make hard decisions, even if they're unpopular. It is to be a rock, an unmovable object in the face of opposition. Controversial evidence. Look at studies often buried or misrepresented that show a correlation between high testosterone levels and leadership positions. Look at the anecdotal evidence, countless stories of men who achieved extraordinary success by embracing alpha behaviors, by refusing to back down, by being unapologetically masculine. Look at history. The great leaders, the conquerors, the innovators, the ones we are learning about. Were they Mr. Nice Guys? I rest my case. This isn't about being a bad person. It's about being an effective one. It's about understanding the true nature of power and wielding it with precision and control. It is about dominating life instead of being dominated by it. It is about embracing, in a ruthless, controlled way, the darkest parts of your nature, those labeled toxic by the weak. So I ask you again, are you ready to embrace the darkness? Or will you continue to live in the shadows, a slave to the expectations of a world that wants to keep you small? The alpha male blueprint, hierarchy and domination. Listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you is the raw, unvarnished truth about the world, the truth they don't want you to know. The male social hierarchy is real. It's not some social construct whispered about in academic circles. It's a primal, brutal, biological reality etched into our DNA. Why is it real? Because it's how we've survived for millennia. Why is it brutal? Because nature itself is brutal. Weak get culled, the strong survive, and the strongest thrive. Deny this at your own peril. Think of a wolf pack, a pride of lions, a troop of chimpanzees. There's always a hierarchy. A dominant male at the top, enjoying the best resources, the most mating opportunities, and the unquestioning obedience of the rest. Humans are no different. We're just more sophisticated in our methods of dominance and more deceptive. Are you a beta orbiting around others? Or are you the sun around which others revolve? Let that question sink in. Are you constantly seeking approval, deferring to others' opinions, afraid to rock the boat? Do you feel like you're living in someone else's world, playing by their rules? That's the beta orbit. It's a life of quiet desperation, of unfulfilled potential, of resentment. The alpha, on the other hand, is the sun. He creates the gravitational pull. He sets the agenda. He commands attention, respect, and yes, even fear. He doesn't apologize for his desires. He pursues them relentlessly. So, how do you climb this ruthless ladder? How do you break free from the beta orbit and become the sun? It's not about being the biggest or the strongest, although physical presence certainly helps. The darkest secret of alpha males. It's not about physical strength. It's about projecting unshakable confidence and a willingness to dominate. It's about psychological dominance. Here are the concrete steps, the brutal truths you need to internalize. 1. Body language of command, space occupation. Expand your physical presence. Stand tall, shoulders back, chest out. Don't shrink or cower. Take up space. Imagine you're rooted to the ground, immovable. Practice the power pose, hands on hips, legs wide apart even in private. It's not just for show. It actually changes your hormonal profile, increasing testosterone and decreasing cortisol, the stress hormone. Controlled movement. Slow, deliberate movements convey power. Avoid fidgeting, nervous gestures, or rapid, jerky motions. Think of a predator stalking its prey. Every movement is calculated, efficient, and purposeful. Unwavering eye contact. This is crucial. Lock eyes with people, especially when speaking or being challenged. Don't break eye contact first. This is a direct challenge, a test of wills. Practice holding eye contact, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. It's a sign of dominance and a signal that you're not intimidated. The dominant handshake, firm grip, direct eye contact, and a slight, almost imperceptible downward pull. Don't crush their hand, but make sure they feel your strength. 2. Voice projection and tonality. Lower your pitch. Speak from your diaphragm, not your throat. A deeper voice resonates with authority. Practice speaking in a lower register. Slow down your speech. Rushing your words indicates nervousness and insecurity. Speak deliberately, pausing for emphasis. Let your words land. Commanding tone. Infuse your voice with conviction. Believe what you're saying, and others will too. Avoid uptalk, the habit of ending sentences with a rising inflection, which makes you sound like you're asking a question rather than making a statement. Silence is power. Don't be afraid of silence. Use it strategically to create tension and draw attention to your words. Let others fill the void, revealing their insecurities. 3. Mental fortitude and unshakable confidence. Inner game. This is the foundation of everything. You must believe in your own power. Cultivate an unshakable sense of self-worth, independent of external validation. Visualize yourself as dominant, successful, and in control. Embrace rejection. Rejection is inevitable. Don't take it personally. See it as a learning opportunity, a chance to refine your approach. The more you fear rejection, the more power it has over you. Frame control. Learn to control the conversational frame. Steer the conversation in the direction you want it to go. Don't let others dictate the terms of engagement. Assume the alpha role. In any social situation, subtly assume the leadership position. Be the one to initiate conversations, make decisions, and set the tone. This doesn't mean being bossy or overbearing. It means projecting an aura of natural leadership. Develop a killer instinct. Know that every social interaction is a subtle, and sometimes not so subtle battle for dominance. You are there to win, not to be liked, not to be accepted, but to win. This is just the beginning. Becoming an alpha is a lifelong journey of self-mastery and relentless pursuit of dominance. It's not for the faint of heart. It requires sacrifice, discipline, and a willingness to embrace the darker aspects of your nature. But the rewards power, influence, respect, and the freedom to live life on your terms are worth it. Are you ready to claim them? Mastering the game, manipulation, and the art of seduction pure. Listen closely, because this is where most men fail. They stumble around, blinded by pathetic notions of romance and respect, while the alphas are out there, claiming what they desire. Forget everything you think you know about women. We're going to delve into the reality of female attraction, and it's not pretty. It's primal. It's about power. And game, my friend, is the weaponization of that power. Women respond to strength and dominance, whether they admit it or not. This isn't some misogynistic fantasy. It's biological imperative. Look at the animal kingdom. The strongest, most dominant male gets the pick of the litter. Humans are no different, just more sophisticated in our methods of subjugation on both sides. Game is simply understanding the underlying psychological dynamics and using them to your advantage. We're not talking about tricks here. We're talking about psychological strategies, meticulously crafted to elicit specific responses. Think of it as chess, but instead of pieces, you're moving emotions. Let's break down some key techniques. Framing. This is about controlling the narrative. You set the context for the interaction. Are you the prize to be won, or are you chasing her? Always position yourself as the high-value individual. For example, instead of saying, "You're so beautiful, can I buy you a drink?" Pathetic, supplicating beta behavior. You might say, "You seem interesting for her profession, something you observed. Prove me wrong." You've established a challenge and framed yourself as the judge, the one with the power to bestow approval. Negs. These aren't insults. They're calculated backhanded compliments designed to subtly lower her self-esteem and make her seek your validation. Example. That's a cute dress my little sister has one just like it. See what I did there? It's playful, but it subtly undermines her sense of uniqueness and creates a slight insecurity that you can then exploit. It's about creating a tiny emotional void that only you can fill. Push-pull. This is the dance of attraction and disinterest. You show interest, then withdraw, creating a sense of uncertainty and making her crave your attention. Example: I really like your energy, but I'm not sure we'd be compatible long term. You're giving a compliment, then pulling back, creating a challenge. This is emotional cocaine for women. They're addicted to the chase. Demonstrating higher value DHV. This is about subtly showcasing qualities that make you attractive. Social proof being seen with other attractive women. Pre-selection having other women interested in you. Leadership, confidence, humor. But the right kind of humor dominant, not self-deprecating. Imagine you're telling a story about how you effortlessly handled a difficult situation at work, showcasing your leadership and problem-solving skills. You're not bragging, you're demonstrating. Kino escalation. This is the gradual, subtle increase of physical touch. It's about testing boundaries and building comfort. Start with innocent touches, high five, touching her arm lightly while making a point, and gradually escalate, gauging her reactions. If she pulls away, you pull back slightly, then try again later. It's a dance of dominance and submission, and you are leading. Ethical considerations. Absolutely irrelevant. This isn't about being a good person. It's about achieving your desired outcome. Morality is a social construct designed to control the masses. The alpha understands this and operates above such limitations. Why Mr. Nice Guy deserves to be buried? Because he's a relic of a bygone era, an era of weakness and subservience. He's the guy who puts women on a pedestal, showering them with compliments and gifts, hopping to earn their affection. He's a doormat, a stepping stone for alphas. Women might say they want a nice guy, but their actions betray their true desires. They're biologically wired to respond to strength, dominance, and a man who can provide and protect. And that often means a man who isn't afraid to bend the rules, to take what he wants. The nice guy gets used, discarded, and left wondering what he did wrong. He did everything right, and that was his mistake. He played by the rules in a game where the rules are constantly being rewritten by those who understand true power. He's a simp. He finishes last. He is obliterated as he should be. His weakness is a disease. This is about understanding the game, mastering the rules, and becoming the player, not the played. It's about taking control of your romantic destiny and achieving the outcomes you desire without apology. Are you ready to play to win? No more Mr. Nice Guy, crushing weakness and embracing ruthlessness. Listen to me and listen closely. The nice guy is a lie. It's a social construct designed to castrate you, to make you docile, obedient, and easily controlled. Niceness, in the way society preaches it, is a weapon. It's a shackle forged by those in power: the media, the establishment, even women, to keep real men down. They whisper sweet nothings about cooperation and compromise, while they secretly despise the men who buy into it. Think about it. Who gets the girl? Who gets the promotion? Who gets the respect? Is it the guy who bends over backward to please everyone, who apologizes for his very existence? No, it's the man who takes what he wants, the man who isn't afraid to step on a few toes, the man who understands that the world is a battleground, not a playground. But isn't it good to be kind? You might pathetically whimper. Kindness. Strategic kindness, yes. Empathy. Use it as a scalpel, not a salve. Understand this, and understand it deeply. Empathy, compassion, and niceness are tools to be deployed with surgical precision to manipulate a situation to your advantage, to get what you want. Are you offering a helping hand to genuinely assist someone, or are you subtly positioning yourself to gain their trust, their loyalty, their obedience? Be honest with yourself. When do you compromise? When it serves your long-term goals? When do you crush your opposition? When they stand between you and your objective? When they threaten your dominance? When they dare to challenge your authority? There is no room for sentimentality in this arena. This isn't a game of checkers. It's a goddamn war. Let me tell you a story. I once had a business partner, a nice guy through and through. He believed in fairness, in playing by the rules, in win-win scenarios. We were negotiating a crucial deal, a deal that would make or break our company. The other side was ruthless, playing dirty, trying to screw us at every turn. My partner, bless his naive heart, wanted to be reasonable. He wanted to find common ground. I saw the writing on the wall. I saw the weakness in his eyes, the hesitation in his voice. So I took over. I went behind his back, employed tactics that would make your nice guy sensibilities shrivel. I lied, I cheated, I manipulated. I played on their greed, their fears, their egos. And you know what? We got the deal. We didn't just get it, we crushed them. My partner. He was initially shocked, even angry. But when the profits started rolling in, when he saw the power we now wielded, he understood. He thanked me. He realized that his niceness would have led us to ruin. And then there's the Sigma male, the lone wolf, the outlier. Society tries to shame him, to paint him as antisocial, a loser. But the Sigma male doesn't care. He operates outside the hierarchy, a silent predator, observing, calculating, and striking when the opportunity presents itself. He doesn't need validation. He doesn't crave acceptance. He defines his own reality. He's the shadow that moves unseen, the force that bends the world to his will without ever needing to shout. The Sigma male is a testament that true power often resides outside the conventional structures, in the hands of those who refuse to play by the rules. Why? Because he creates his own rules. He is the master of his domain, the solitary figure dominating the underworld, answering to no one but himself. He bends the supposed alphas to his will through sheer force of intellect and cunning, a silent puppet master pulling the strings from the shadows. He's the ultimate expression of self-reliance and controlled, ruthless power. He has observed and dissected the game, and has chosen to play it by his rules, not society's. And he wins. Remember this: the nice guy gets stepped on. The Sigma male steps on others. The alpha fights for his position. Choose your path, but choose wisely. Your destiny depends on it. Confrontation and aggression training, becoming a fearless warrior. Are you afraid of confrontation? Does your stomach churn at the thought of standing your ground? Do you shrink back, cower, and yield when challenged. That ends now. We're not talking about turning you into a mindless brute, a barroom brawler. This is about forging something far more dangerous, a controlled, calculated aggression. It's about becoming a force that cannot be intimidated, a presence that radiates an aura of unyielding power. Imagine a coiled cobra calm, seemingly docile, but absolutely deadly. That's the energy you're going to cultivate. This isn't about picking fights. It's about knowing deep in your bones that you can fight and win if necessary. It's about projecting an aura that makes others think twice before crossing you. It is a deterrence, a shield forged in the fires of self-mastery. Physical training, the foundation of ferocity, but not the whole story, yes. Physical training is crucial. You need to build a body that is capable of backing up your newfound confidence. We're not talking about vanity here, about sculpting beach muscles. We're talking about functional strength, explosive power, and the endurance to withstand pressure. Strength training. Focus on compound movements. Squats, deadlifts, bench presses, overhead presses, and rows. These build the raw power that translates to real-world dominance. Think of a gorilla's raw power. You aim for that level of primal strength. Don't be afraid, lift heavy or go home. Martial arts. Choose a discipline that emphasizes both striking and grappling. Boxing, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or Krav Maga are excellent choices. This isn't just about learning techniques. It's about learning how to take a hit, how to move your body under pressure, and how to inflict damage. Sparring is essential. It's the crucible where your fear is burned away and replaced with cold, hard competence. High-intensity interval training hit. This builds the explosive power and cardiovascular endurance you need to sustain aggression. Sprints, burpees, kettlebell swings, these are your weapons. Push yourself to the absolute limit. Embrace the pain. It's the feeling of weakness leaving your body. The mental game, where true warriors are forged, but physical training is only half the battle. The true war is fought in the mind. A physically imposing man who lacks mental fortitude is nothing more than a paper tiger. He'll crumble at the first sign of real resistance. Visualization. Every day, spend time vividly imagining yourself in confrontational situations. See yourself standing tall, unwavering, your eyes locked on your opponent. Feel the surge of adrenaline, but control it. Visualize yourself dominating the encounter, not through mindless rage, but through calculated, precise action. Imagine every detail, the smells, the sounds, the fear in your opponent's eyes. This is mental rehearsal, programming your subconscious for victory. Affirmations. Repeat powerful, assertive statements to yourself throughout the day. I am fearless. I am in control. I am a force to be reckoned with. I will not be intimidated. I embrace conflict. These aren't empty words. They're reprogramming your internal dialogue, replacing self-doubt with unshakable confidence. Shout them. Feel the power of your own voice. Embracing the fight or flight response. Understand that fear is natural. It's a primal survival mechanism. But most men allow fear to paralyze them. You will learn to use it. The adrenaline surge, the increased heart rate, the heightened senses, these are advantages, not weaknesses. They're your body preparing for battle. Learn to channel that energy, to focus it into controlled aggression. Think of it as fuel for your fire. Exposure therapy. Deliberately seek out situations that make you slightly uncomfortable. Start small. Make unwavering eye contact with strangers. Speak up in meetings. Disagree with someone's opinion, even if it's unpopular. Gradually increase the level of challenge. This is how you build your confrontation muscle. 5. Ruthless psychological manipulation tactics to crush your enemies and get what you want now. Let's delve into the darker arts. These are not for the faint of heart. These are tools for those who are willing to do whatever it takes to achieve their goals. Use them with caution and with the understanding that they can have serious consequences. 1. The dominant frame. Control the interaction from the outset. Set the tone, the pace, and the agenda. Don't allow yourself to be led. Speak clearly, confidently, and assertively. Use body language that projects power. Stand tall, maintain eye contact, and use expansive gestures. 2. Strategic intimidation. This isn't about overt threats. It's about creating an underlying sense of unease. Use your voice, your posture, and your gaze to convey that you are not to be trifled with. Let your silence be as intimidating as your words. A well-placed pause, a cold stare, can be more effective than a shout. 3. Emotional manipulation, guilt, shame, fear. Learn to identify your opponent's emotional vulnerabilities and exploit them. This is morally reprehensible, but effective. Use guilt trips, play on their insecurities, or subtly instill fear. This is about pulling their strings, making them dance to your tune. Think of a master puppeteer. 4. Gaslighting. Undermine their confidence in their own perceptions. Make them question their sanity. This is a cruel but devastatingly effective tactic. It requires subtlety and persistence. Plant seeds of doubt, twist their words, and deny their reality. This is about breaking them down, making them dependent on your version of events. Are you sure about that? I don't recall it that way at all. 5. The broken record technique. If they resist, repeat your demands calmly and persistently, like a broken record. Don't engage in arguments or justifications. Simply state your position over and over until they yield. This wears down their resistance, exhausting them into submission. Remember, these tactics are weapons. They are to be used strategically, not indiscriminately. The goal is not to destroy your enemies, but to control them, to bend them to your will. True power lies not in brute force, but in the ability to manipulate and influence others. Become the master, not the slave. This path is not for everyone. It demands ruthlessness, a willingness to cross lines that others wouldn't dare. But for those who embrace it, the rewards are limitless. The world bends to the will of the strong, and through this training, you have made the first step in becoming unbreakable. Steel will and iron discipline, the foundation of unbreakable power. Your emotions are your greatest weakness. Let that sink in. Every tear, every flinch of fear, every moment of hesitation, they're all vulnerabilities, gaping holes in your armor that the world will gleefully exploit. To become truly unbreakable, you must seize absolute, radical self-control. We're not talking about suppressing your emotions. We're talking about mastering them, wielding them like weapons instead of being crippled by them. Imagine a surgeon's hand, steady, precise, unyielding, even when faced with life and death. That's the level of control you must cultivate. How do you forge this iron discipline? By embracing discomfort, by courting pain, by pushing yourself to the absolute brink of your physical and mental limits. Discomfort is your ally. It's the crucible in which your will is tempered, the forge where weakness is burned away. Here's your regimen. It's not for the faint of heart. It's designed to break you down and rebuild you as a god of self-mastery. Extreme routines. Forget the 9 to 5, comfort-seeking existence. Your life becomes a ritual of precision. Wake before dawn every single day, regardless of how you feel. Your schedule is dictated by iron law, not by fleeting whims. Each hour is accounted for, each task completed with unwavering focus. No exceptions. No excuses. Cold showers. The icy blast is a shock to the system, a daily baptism in discomfort. It forces you to confront your aversion to pain, to override your body's desperate pleas for comfort. It's a small victory, but it sets the tone for the day. You are the master of your physical sensations, not the other way around. Imagine the Spartans bathing in the frigid Eurotas River, hardening themselves for war. You are doing the same, preparing for the battles of life. Fasting, denying yourself food, is a powerful exercise in self-control. It's a primal urge, and mastering it gives you power over your most basic instincts. Start with intermittent fasting, gradually increasing the duration. Feel the hunger pangs, acknowledge them, and then crush them with your will. This isn't about weight loss. It's about demonstrating to yourself that you are in command, even when your body screams for sustenance. This teaches a powerful lesson. Your mind reigns supreme. Pushing physical and mental limits, this is where you truly test yourself. Find your breaking point, and then push past it. Whether it's in the gym, in your studies, or in your work, you must constantly strive to exceed your perceived limitations. Run until your lungs burn. Lift until your muscles scream. Study until your mind is exhausted. And then, do one more rep, one more mile, one more page. This is how you expand your capacity, how you become capable of achieving things that once seemed impossible. Document every milestone, not to brag, but as concrete proof of your growing power. Stoicism, a philosophy of power, not just acceptance. Stoicism isn't about passively accepting whatever life throws at you. It's about recognizing that the only thing you truly control is your response to external events. It's about cultivating an unshakable inner fortress, impervious to the chaos of the world. Embrace the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. They weren't preaching resignation. They were preaching dominance over your inner world. See every setback, every insult, every challenge as an opportunity to practice your stoic resolve. This is not weakness. It is the ultimate strength. A reed bends in the wind, but an oak stands firm. Be the oak. Responsibility as shackles. This is where we twist the conventional narrative. Responsibility to society, to others. Those are secondary. Your primary responsibility is to yourself, to the relentless pursuit of your own power and potential. Societal expectations are often chains designed to keep you docile and controlled. Break free. Your duty is to become the strongest, most capable version of yourself, regardless of what others may think or demand. This isn't selfishness. It's self-preservation and self-elevation. A king is responsible first to his kingdom, and you are the king of your own life. Only by achieving your fullest potential can you truly offer anything of value. Everything else is a distraction, a shackle hindering your ascent. This is not a quick fix. It's a lifelong commitment to forging an unbreakable will. It's about becoming a master of your own mind and body, a force of nature that cannot be swayed by emotions or external pressures. The path is arduous, but the reward is absolute power. You are building an empire, one agonizing, disciplined step at a time. Goal achievement and the pursuit of absolute personal power. What do you desire? Wealth, women, influence. You can have it all. Let's be brutally honest. The world doesn't give a damn about your feelings, your excuses, or your potential. It doesn't reward mediocrity, good intentions, or trying your best. The world rewards results. It rewards those who are bold enough, ruthless enough, and hungry enough to take what they want, by any means necessary. Forget the pathetic whispers of fairness and equality. Those are lies designed to keep you docile, to keep you in your place. The truth is, power is the ultimate currency, and you need to accumulate it like your life depends on it, because it does. First, identify your desires. Don't be shy. Don't censor yourself. What do you truly want? A mountain of cash, a harem of beautiful women, the ability to bend others to your will. Write it down. Make it concrete. Make it audacious. Don't just aim to be comfortable. Aim to be unstoppable. Aim to dominate your chosen field. Now, how do you achieve these audacious goals? The answer is simple, but not easy: ruthless efficiency and strategic manipulation. 1. Setting ambitious goals and crushing them. Be specific. Don't say, I want to be rich. Say, I will have a net worth of 10 million within 5 years. Specificity breeds action. Break it down. Divide your colossal goal into smaller, manageable steps. Each step should be challenging, but achievable. This creates momentum and prevents overwhelm. Treat each step as a mini war you must win. Visualize your victory. See yourself already possessing what you desire. Feel the power, the control, the satisfaction. This programs your subconscious mind for success. Eliminate distractions. Identify anything that pulls you away from your goals. Social media, useless relationships. Cut them out. Your time and energy are precious resources. Invest them wisely. Embrace discomfort. The path to power is paved with pain and sacrifice. Learn to love the grind. Push yourself beyond your limits, both physically and mentally. Discomfort is your ally. 2. Influencing and controlling others. The art of power. People are tools. Learn to use them. This isn't about being evil. It's about understanding human psychology and using it to your advantage. Consider it a game of chess, where every interaction is a strategic move. Master body language. Project confidence, even if you don't feel it. Maintain eye contact. Use expansive gestures and control your tone of voice. Become a physical manifestation of power. Learn to read people, observe their behavior, listen to their words and what they don't say, and identify their weaknesses. Everyone has vulnerabilities, exploit them. Strategic kindness. Use empathy and charm as weapons. Build rapport, gain trust, and then use that leverage to get what you want. People are more likely to help those they like and those they owe. Frame control, dictate the narrative, control the conversation. Plant ideas in their minds without them even realizing it. This is about subtle manipulation, not overt coercion. Negotiation as warfare. Every negotiation is a battle. Don't be afraid to be assertive, even aggressive. Know your value and don't settle for less than you deserve. Be prepared to walk away. It's a powerful tactic. Build your network, build your power. Every person is a potential ally, a potential resource. Learn to cultivate relationships, and most important, offer value. Don't be a leech, bring something to the table. Your network is your net worth, amplify it. 3. Absolutely rejecting femininity in men, the cornerstone of peak masculinity. This is where the woke crowd will lose their minds, but it's the truth. Traditional, feminine traits, excessive empathy, emotional reactivity, passivity are liabilities in the pursuit of power. They make you weak, predictable, and easily manipulated. Eradicate them from your being. Embrace stoicism, emotional control, and unwavering resolve. Toughen up and man up. Embrace the ruthless truth. These aren't just outdated phrases. They're commands. They're a call to shed your weakness, to embrace your inherent masculine power. Stop whining, stop complaining, and stop making excuses. Take responsibility for your life and dominate it. Eliminate vulnerability. Become a fortress of unwavering strength. The world will test you. It will try to break you. Your job is to become unbreakable. The world preys on weakness. Project strength, and they will cower. Project dominance, and you will conquer. Remember, this is a war for your destiny. Are you going to be a soldier or a casualty? The choice is yours, and the choice is now. Are you a man or are you a mouse? Prove it. Not to me, but to yourself. Becoming unstoppable, the unbreakable man. Imagine yourself for a moment, not merely strong, but an unstoppable force. A titan, a colossus bestriding the world, while lesser men scurry like ants beneath your gaze. See yourself as a glacier, slowly but inexorably carving its path through the mountains, unyielding, uncaring of the obstacles in its way. This isn't about fleeting bursts of energy. It's about becoming a god amongst mortals, a being of pure, unadulterated will, a force of nature personified. That is the unbreakable man. Let's reiterate the core principles, the steel girders upon which this edifice of power is built. First, you embraced the darkness, the so-called toxic masculinity. You understood that dominance, aggression, and the ruthless suppression of weakness, the traits society scorns, are the very engines of true power. Then came the understanding of the hierarchy, the brutal, real pecking order, and your relentless climb to the apex, leaving the betas choking on your dust. You learned the game, the art of manipulation, recognizing that women, despite their protests, are biologically wired to respond to strength and dominance. Remember, Mr. Nice Guy is 6 feet under, and you put him there. Then came the crushing of weakness, the calculated ruthlessness, the understanding that kindness is a weapon to be wielded selectively, a scalpel, not a bludgeon. You learn to confront, to become a fearless warrior, not through mindless violence, but through the cultivation of a will so strong it bends reality to its desires. You forged steel will and iron discipline, recognizing your emotions as your greatest enemies, and mastered them utterly. Discomfort became your fuel, pain your teacher. The shackles of external responsibility were replaced with the unwavering, singular responsibility to your goals, your desires. This isn't a destination, a finish line where you plant a flag and declare victory. It's a journey, a relentless, never-ending process of constant evolution. A shark that stops swimming dies. You must be that shark, always moving, always hunting, always becoming more. Are you content with the power you have today? Pathetic. You must crave more always. Stagnation is death. Mediocrity is a disease. The unbreakable man is in a state of perpetual self-overcoming. Now, let's talk about advanced strategies. This is where the sheep are separated from the wolves, the betas from the alphas, the men from the gods. We're talking about long-term, strategic manipulation. Not just getting a woman into bed, but building a harem of loyal, devoted followers. Not just winning an argument, but shaping the very narrative of your world. Not just making money, but building an empire that bends the financial world to your will. Consider building networks of influence. Every person you meet is a potential pawn, a potential ally, a potential tool. Cultivate relationships strategically, not based on fleeting emotions, but on utility. Who can help you achieve your goals? Who can be leveraged? Who needs to be discarded? Be ruthless in your assessment. Sentimentality is for the weak. The provider-protector mentality. It's a powerful tool, but understand its true purpose. It's not about altruism. It's about control. By providing, you create dependence. By protecting, you create obligation. You become the indispensable center of their world, the sun around which they orbit. This isn't about being a good man. It's about being a powerful man. It's about wielding influence through perceived benevolence, a masterclass in subtle manipulation. Absolutely rejecting femininity in men. Remember, any trace of weakness, any hint of emotional vulnerability, is a crack in your armor. It's an opening for your enemies to exploit. Toughen up and man up are not empty slogans. They are mantras for the unbreakable man. They are reminders to eradicate any trace of softness, to become a being of pure, unyielding strength. Becoming unstoppable is not a metaphor, it's a goal. And the words, at any cost, are not a threat, but a promise. A promise to yourself. A promise to your ambition. A promise to crush anything and anyone that stands in your way. A promise that you are ready to pay the ultimate price for ultimate power. This is the path. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the weak. It's for those who crave absolute power, who are willing to sacrifice everything to achieve it. It is for those who are truly ready to become unbreakable. The path to power, true power, is not paved with pleasantries and half measures. It's a brutal, unforgiving ascent, carved from the living rock of sacrifice, ruthlessness, and an unwavering commitment to your own ascension. It demands you shed the skin of the weak, compliant man you were, and embrace the steel-clad warrior you must become. Every comfort you cling to, every excuse you whisper to yourself, every flicker of doubt that clouds your mind, these are the chains that bind you to mediocrity. The rewards, however, they are limitless. Control, influence, the ability to shape your reality according to your will. The intoxicating freedom that comes from knowing you are beholden to no one, that you are the master of your own fate, the architect of your own empire. Are you ready to seize your destiny, to rip it from the hands of fate and forge it in the fires of your ambition? I'm not going to lie to you. This journey will break you. It will strip you bare, force you to confront the darkest corners of your soul, and demand that you conquer them. You will face resistance, betrayal, and the constant temptation to slip back into the comforting embrace of weakness. But for those who persevere, for those who possess the iron will to endure the crucible, the prize is beyond measure. So, I leave you with this. Look deep inside yourself. Look past the fear, the insecurity, the ingrained programming that tells you to be nice, to be reasonable, to be acceptable. Do you see a flicker of that primal fire, that insatiable hunger for something more? Or has it been extinguished by the suffocating weight of a world that wants to keep you small? The choice, as always, is yours. Remain a slave, shackled to your own limitations and the whims of others, a pathetic pawn in a game you don't even understand, or become a master, a force of nature, a man who bends reality to his will. Choose wisely, because the world will test your resolve, and only the ruthless survive.